Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or should I say Captain America and the Winter Soldier, because I love the show and I have a lot of things to just scream about, I guess, so I'm making a video about it. I want to do a little bit of a reflection, like a little bit more of an analytical view at the show, but like I'm not by any means a professional or know how to analyze anything. But I thought like I have a lot of opinions and I'm just like giving them to you. So I hope you enjoy, and if you disagree with me on anything, feel free to let me know. But let's get right into it. First things first, let's just start with the story. The story isn't super complicated, but then again, it's a superhero show, so I don't expect I don't know what kind of plot. So basically, it's mostly about Sam and Bucky trying to stop the Flag Smashers from trying to get the world back to the way it was during the blip. Even though the story isn't very complicated, it really doesn't need much more because this show definitely serves more as a character study for both Sam and Bucky. It was more of a way to develop their characters and go through a character arc. So it's more character driven than story driven, which I personally like, as I like character driven stories. We get to see Sam and Bucky going through their normal lives now after everything that has happened after Endgame. You see Sam struggle financially, which is something you never would really think of, and it's also something that wouldn't have place in a movie because the movie wouldn't have time for this, and the show is the perfect way to explore these kind of problems that these superheroes might be facing. Also, Bucky going to therapy, nobody really considers that kind of stuff, and after WandaVision, we think a lot of these people could use some therapy. The thing about the Flag Smashers is, I often, forgot that they were in the show. I wasn't that interested in them, and, if they weren't, on screen or somebody was talking about them, I was kind of oh, right, they're in this show and they're supposed to be a threat. They were, trying to make us, sympathize with Carly and the Flag Smashers through the Donya Madani thing, but I really just didn't care. Maybe that's just a me problem. Carly was the most interesting in my opinion when we saw her slowly descend into a problematic kind of way. When you saw that she started thinking that the means justify the end, and that she just was okay with making casualties that weren't really a part of what they were trying to do. And that's when Carly became interesting, but they didn't explore this enough. Which is why I really liked the moments where Sam and Carly were having a conversation, because those were the moments that that came out. But I think the Flag Smashers could have kind of been cut out of the show, and the show would have been basically the same. They're mostly there to give Sam and Bucky something to do or work on together, I guess. So yeah, I don't mind the Flag Smashers, but I found them quite unnecessary. So that was it, kind of my thoughts for the story. So the story is good. It's of course flimsy, but it's a superhero show, so of course it's flimsy. And the Flag Smashers were kind of there to serve the plot, I guess. So the next thing I want to talk about was John Walker. Wyatt Russell played John Walker fantastically. He's up there with Joffrey and all the characters that you just love to hate. And I think that is a testament to the acting, really, and I must commend Wyatt Russell for the great acting. The thing with John Walker is we see the show from Sam and Bucky's perspective, so our thoughts are kind of skewed to what they think. Yeah, it's really complicated because you could notice in universe everyone's super excited that John Walker was a new Captain America, but in the real life, in the real world, we were all no, we don't like this guy. Take him off, take him off, take him off. And I think that's exactly what they wanted to do. If we would have experienced the story from the perspective of John Walker, we would have probably been more sympathetic towards the character. I mean, if we were in his shoes, wouldn't we take the same opportunity? He was handed an opportunity to become Captain America, which is a huge thing, right? I would have taken the chance. I'm sure pretty much everyone would have taken that chance if they were offered it. There's no denying that there's a lot of pressure coming with the name Captain America, and I'm sure that's what John Walker felt. My problem with John Walker started when he started demanding people to respect him. Well, I am a person I have a basic respect for everyone, but if you really want me to oh, I respect you so much, you have to earn this from me. Well, he expected disrespect already just because he was carrying the title of Captain America. Like, Steve was never like, please respect me because I'm Captain America. He's just like, I'm Captain America and you do with that as you will. Well, John Walker was more like, you should respect me. Do you know who I am? I am Captain America. It's kind of like that kind of thing if you say like, I'm a nice guy, and if you have to say that you're a nice guy, then you're probably not a nice guy. And that's the same thing with John Walker, in my opinion. He's like, I'm Captain America. He's constantly saying it all the time, that he's Captain America. But the fact that he has to keep saying it means that people don't really see him as Captain America. This is also something that really bothers Sam and Bucky, because John Walker expects them to work with him because they work with Captain America. But like, Captain America did like build up a friendship and a relationship with these guys. He didn't just expect them to follow him just because he was Captain America. They followed Steve because they trusted Steve, they believed in Steve, and they were his friends. Throughout the show, you start noticing that the expectations that come with being Captain America really get to John Walker, and that's mostly evident in episode, was it 4, when they fought the Dora Milaje, because he was like, they weren't even super soldiers, and he thinks the serum is going to magically make everyone respect him and make him the perfect Captain America. Because he is trying too hard to be Steve. If he would have just been his own Captain America, we would have all respected him more, I feel. But no, he was trying to be the same Captain America, which is the problem. And I understand that this pressure is not easy to deal with. Like, this is why I'm trying to, like, nuance my feelings towards John Walker, like, not just blind hate, but actually try to see it from his point. And I actually think Lamar was actually a really good person or influence in his vicinity. Lamar had respect for John Walker because they went through the same things together, and this is not something he just can expect from anyone. And I think the death of Lamar is also just like, the final, like, the straw for him, the final straw for him. Like, this is what makes him snap, and I understand him being mad and going after the Flag Smasher, because I feel like we would all be mad and do the same if we were in this situation, of course. Maybe not necessarily kill someone, but we would be angry and would want to take revenge. That doesn't mean he was right or that we should condone it, of course. The fight that he had with Sam and Bucky over the shield, you can tell that he was just so, like, done with everything. Like, he didn't even hold back. Like, he was fully planning on killing Sam with that shield and was really going in. And honestly, I think that was like mostly to show us how hard he has it with the death of Lamar and how crazy it is for him. Then the last episode came around, and I have to say, if he had been like that the whole show, I would have liked him a lot more. Because the moment he decided to like go help people instead of going after Carly Morgenthau, that's the moment he decided to be selfless, not care about what others thought of him, not caring about the title of Captain America or anything. He was saving someone, and that is when I actually liked him. My friend is a huge Steve Rogers fan, so she wasn't really on board with John Walker either way. Like, none of us were, but she was angry. When I tell you she was angry. But even she said, like, I would have respected him more if he had been like that throughout the whole show. And I think that's the whole thing. Like, John Walker really went through a character arc. He went from feeling proud because he was a new Captain America to feeling angry because people weren't, like, taking him as serious as he wanted to. And then, like, learning what it actually means to be a hero, which I found interesting. Then next I want to focus on one of the title characters, namely Sam, aka the Falcon, aka Captain America. I was from the beginning. I was rooting for Sam to be Captain America from the beginning. A lot of my friends were like, oh, but he gave away the shield, it should be Bucky. And a lot of friends were like actually hoping that it would be Bucky. And I was like, no, it should be Sam. It makes more story-wise, it makes more sense to be Sam. So I'm so happy it's Sam. I think the whole purpose of this show solely exists to make us all on board for Sam being Captain America. And it did it well. It did it really well. Like, I understand Sam giving it away in the first place. Like, you can see, like, he was not ready for the pressure. Like, neither was John Walker, and see what they did to him. So I think Sam really was just not ready for it. It's really interesting to see Sam struggle with everything that the shield stands for, because, like, we get the introduction of Isaiah Bradley, which I'm really, really excited about because I love the Young Avengers comics, so I'm so excited to see Eli. But his conversation with Isaiah kind of, like, showed that, that it's difficult for a black man to take up the mantle of Captain America. I think it's interesting that they dare to explore this issue, like around race and everything, because, well, it's a heavy topic and superhero fans not necessarily want to be confronted with a topic like that. But it's very topical, especially with the whole Black Lives Matter movement that's coming up again and again. And I love that they tackle this, because there's no more perfect character than Captain America to tackle issues like this. And it's always been more political with Captain America, and I like that they do that, because even though we love our, like, mindless superhero battles, we are all intelligent enough to, like, go through topics, and it gets people talking. So I hope they continue, like, the trend of tackling more difficult topics with Captain America in general. You also really understand where Isaiah has come from. Like, you cannot blame him for not really, for, like, resenting the stripes and the stars and the whole thing about Captain America. But I love that Sam just decides that this doesn't have to be that way, and that he could change what these stripes means or what it means for a black man. And Sarah really supports him in that. By the way, Sarah Wilson, I love her so much. She's great. I love her. And I love her relationship with Sam, because, like, that got explored a lot as well. And I just love to see every moment between these two. It was great. Of course, I also really loved how you saw Sam, like, trusting Bucky and stuff like that, because, like, we all loved the little bit of the dynamic in Civil War, which is probably the whole reason why this got made in the first place. You could tell that Sam really trusts Bucky, even after all they've been through. Like, for example, he trusted Bucky when he broke Zemo out to, like, have Zemo help them out. Like, he trusted that Bucky made the right decision and made a correct judgment. And I also love, like, he keeps checking on Bucky in Madripoor, because he had to, like, act as if he was the Winter Soldier. Then you have Sam checking on him, like, are you okay? And I just, like, love that, because you can see Sam really cares, you know? Like, he's also trying to get in contact with him, as we learned from the therapist, so that's so great. One other thing I really liked about Sam in the show was his relationship with Joaquin Torres. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, it's nice to see Torres, because he takes up the mantle of the Falcon in the comics, and Sam leaving his wings with Torres means maybe that he will become the Falcon. We don't know. Maybe. But it was nice to see, like, it's a little bit of a mentor-mentee relationship, and I really like that. And then there's the finale, of course. All I can say is I think Sam is a fantastic Captain America. The suit looks great, the wings were awesome, he is cool with the shield, and that monologue against the senator, oh my god, art. I really, really, really am on board with Sam being Captain America. I think he does great, and it just makes me more interested to see more Captain America in the future. Like, I loved the finale. It was so good, and Sam was so great. One thing I really, really wanted to add as well is how they used the wings in this show. Wow, I'm impressed. Like, the wings were really, really well used in battles and really creatively used, and I love seeing it. So it's all I can say. I just want to see more of, like, cool fights with Sam as Captain America using his wings in creative ways. Of course, there's another title character that we need to talk about, and that is Bucky, aka the Winter Soldier. I enjoyed watching Bucky actually go to therapy. It's really nice that they tried to tackle something like that, because, well, not everyone's okay. Some people need therapy, and it's cool to see, like, a superhero, like, kind of a superhero, we call him a superhero, like, go through those things. Like, it's relatable, and it's nice to see some, like, normalcy in, like, Bucky's life. Like, you can see he's struggling with Mr. Nakajima, trying to make amends, and I think it's such a human thing, and it's nice to see. Also, like, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is just Bucky having beef with everyone. He has beef with Sam, he has beef with Zemo, he has beef with everyone, and with a lucky cat. I'm sure we all loved, like, the scene with the couple therapy thing. It was funny, it was great humor, but it also served a good way to set up both Sam and Bucky's struggles. Like, Sam admitted, like, can you trust that I did what I thought was right? And that there are things that Steve and Bucky would never understand, because they're not black. And Bucky's side of this as well is also very understandable. Like, if he was wrong about you, he was wrong about me. And the couples therapy was a great way to set up where the characters' arc were going to go. Then the flashback to Wakanda, like I was already hoping we were gonna get something like that because I really wanted to see like what was it like for Bucky. My heart broke. Sebastian Stan is such a good like actor, and his facial expressions and the crying, and like my heart broke. And you could also see the relief of like him finally being able to hear the words and not getting triggered by it. It was so well done. And it also tells us a lot about how Bucky struggled with being the Winter Soldier. In the end, like the last episode really served as a way to show Bucky's growth. Like he made amends with Mr. Nakajima, and he also like came to his own. It was great to see him with the Wilson family as well, because you can tell he finally feels comfortable like with other people. He feels happy being with other people. He's coming out of his shell, and that's really a nice character arc that Bucky went through. Like you could really see the evolution throughout the whole show, as well with Zemo. And yeah, I think it's great to end like on him like just being friends with Sam and accepting that they're friends, like because they were like, oh, we're just co-workers, right? Or we're like just guys being dudes. But you can tell by now they actually really respect each other and like see each other as real friends, which is really, really nice. And it made me so insanely happy to see Bucky genuinely smile. Okay, the last character I want to and need to focus on is none other than Helmut Zemo. And the reason why is because I didn't expect to actually like him. This is crazy. I didn't go into the show thinking I was going to come out a Zemo stan, but apparently I did. Marvel knows how to sell this character to people. He was so insanely weird. And I love that. I love characters that are so weird that you're just watching them like, what is the reason? Why did you do that? Like, why? Honestly, most of the comedy, like the comedy in the show was really good. I laughed a lot, and it was a really nice balance between like serious moments and some comedy, but most of the comedy really came from just Zemo being Zemo. Like, I'm sorry, the dancing, iconic, hello? Also, just like his pimp as code, him driving up, everything about Zemo was a meme. And I loved it. That's how you sell a character to me, just make him weird. Okay, enough about me crying about Zemo, and let's get to the analysis. Yeah, Zemo is still very much the same character from Civil War, only they give him more personality, which was great, but his motivation stayed the same. And yeah, it's really cool to see Zemo just tagging along with Sam and Bucky, because kind of like the relationship the two have with each other, and then Zemo added to it, just came out as perfection. I think the main reason why they brought Zemo back is because they have some plans for him in the future, maybe the Thunderbolts, we don't know. Because in the end, he didn't serve much purpose, like he was there to help find his Flag Smashers, but like I said, the Flag Smashers plot could have been totally cut out, but Zemo was only necessary to serve that plot, but for the rest he wasn't really necessary, except for one thing, and that's help Bucky make amends. And I think that was a great scene, like him saying, like, I took like the liberty of taking out my name in your book, because I don't hold any grudges against you anymore for what you've done. Like Zemo's facial expressions when like Bucky was like going to shoot him, he seemed ready for death, because we already know from Civil War he was suicidal or was going to kill himself to join his family. And the disappointment when he didn't die in his face broke me. This man has such survivor's guilt, and it hurts me to say because I like Zemo a lot. But like that's very interesting, like to explore, and I hope in the future they do more with Zemo, because that was amazing. And of course, there's this one more thing to mention when it comes to Zemo, and that's the final episode, of course. I thought we weren't going to see him anymore after the Dora Milaje took him to the draft. I was wrong. Then we got to Zemo cheekily staring at the camera and being like, it was me. I didn't expect it. It made me insanely happy, and I'm so curious to see what they will do with him in the future. Okay, so I kind of wanted to do a separate part about Madripoor, because I loved Madripoor as a location. I don't know, I didn't know you could be such a fan of a location, but Madripoor just did it for me. It was beautiful, the music was awesome, and the whole story about Madripoor being a bit more of a lawless zone, and there's high town and low town, just really spoke to me, and I hope they bring back Madripoor in this future, because it was so interesting. Also, how obvious was it that Sharon was the power broker? Like, pretty much everyone could guess that, right? I wonder where they're going with Sharon Carter, because like the comics I have read, she's mostly an ally. Like I was thinking that maybe after Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they were going to go to the second chances kind of road with Sharon and Bucky, but I guess not, since Sharon is the power broker and apparently just a bad guy. I guess that still remains to be seen, but I think Madripoor and Sharon were a great addition to this, also for setting things up from the future, just like they did with Zemo. So yeah, what else is there left to say except for the comedy was great? I mean, Sam and Bucky bickering was always fun. Zemo was comedy gold. The sound design was also really nice in the show. In my opinion, like the music was great, and like for example, when Bucky pulls his arm back when he reattaches it, that sound, had we seen that in a cinema, that would have gone through your bones. So like, I'm someone who really likes sound design, and I think the sound design in the show was great. The purpose of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was mainly for Bucky and Sam to get a character arc, for us to get on board with Sam being Captain America, and I think they executed that very well. And I mean, I bet we're all really excited to see what's coming in the future, because I can't imagine there were many people who were really like interested in what's going to happen to the Falcon next, except for when he maybe got the shield and then got curious. But the Falcon was never a favorite character of mine, neither was Bucky, but after this show, I have to say, wow, I really care about these characters now. I cannot wait for more new Captain America. I think Sam is gonna be great, and Bucky, I mean, I just hope he stays happy. Sorry for me just rambling about Falcon and the Winter Soldier for like forever. I hope it was somewhat interesting or entertaining to watch. If so, please let me know something in the comments. If you hated it, please let me know as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye!